Hello everybody, in this video I wanted to go over Tradingview's new volume delta and CVD indicator, but not only that, go over the ways I would use it in my own trading and a few alternatives to it because I don't think it's fully fledged as it could be, and a few recommendations to them and a few alternatives in that case. As usual, thank you Woo for sponsoring this video. Go check them out, link in the description below. There's a bit of a backlog there with all the free Exocharts and course acceptances, but that will be sorted today / in the coming days, so be patient on that. But yes, to begin with, so volume delta is the most common one. So if we just click here, okay, you'll see volume delta, and in very simple terms, it's just your delta bars that you see at the bottom here, but you can have them available in Tradingview. So the settings within them, they don't really give you too much. You can obviously use a custom time frame if you want. Use 15-minute charts. If you select this and then use a custom time frame, you can select the one you want to be using. I'll just uncheck this and just go with, it'll automatically detect what you've got on your chart and go from there. It doesn't have too many components. It's got the style, the wick colors, and everything like that. But that's not what I really want to go over. How I would use this is not actually by looking at, obviously you can be just identifying, okay, there's large delta. If we just look here, look, there's large delta negative, there's a large negative delta here, positive delta here, but cool. But more importantly to me is I'm interested in these wicks of the delta bars, right? So this is interesting to note and something, I'm going to incorporate later on. But you can see here, right? So you've obviously got a lot of positive buying here. People buy, market buying coming in, right? But within this, right, this wick here is then saying, okay, delta max essentially, right? If we go over to just quickly to Exocharts, sorry to blind you, but delta maximum, right? Delta has a swing point. So what's the highest delta it's gone to within that candle, and then it's gone down to this point here and closed, right? And that delta swing can be identifiable through, if we just look at here, the volume footprint. I've covered this many times before actually. But if you actually want to know where that delta or trap delta is within a candle, if it wants to load, actually, that'll be useful, right? If you want to know where that trap delta is within a candle, then you're going to have to look at this. What I'll do is we'll change this to delta, right? And now you can see where that buying is necessarily coming in, because right now we're seeing that this is actually a lot of trap delta up here. It's not easy to identify, but there's actually a lot of buying coming in, right? That's just instantly then trapped here, and you can see that through these delta candles. Okay, irreversibly at the lows, what you'd want to see is something like this. This is really good low. Okay, so we're just going to be focusing on the, let me turn this off actually, because it cleans it up, right? Focusing on the delta, so the yellow bar is the point of control, but you can see here, right, this candle here, you've got the candle has actually closed with red delta. There's actually more selling going on within this candle, but it reached a peak point of negative delta all the way down here, right, where the wick of the candle went to. The candle closed green and the delta is still negative, right? So now we've got a few different components in there. We've got a lot of negative delta, and it actually peaked all the way down here and it's closed back up here. So this delta is necessarily, it's potentially, if we just highlight this all up here, this is potentially all trap delta within this little wick here. So then our job is to go, okay, where is that trap delta? And then you can look at the candle, something that you don't just get through looking at regular candlesticks, and you have to kind of look at delta charts, etc., delta clusters, etc. You can see all that selling is coming in down here. Just visually, you can see the candle is closed up here, right? And then obviously got all this selling down here. That is trap delta. That is a potential sign for a reversal. Again, many other components into that. Where's your level of interest, etc. And it's not a coincidence that it just leads to a big reversal to the upside. Okay, and this is on the 15-minute chart. So again, this won't be too much of a long video. But one thing I wanted to really just point to you lot out here is looking at the wicks and looking at these swings in delta. If you're not familiar with Exocharts, this is a great. Obviously, you just got the values here. The final delta, the delta max, the delta minimum. Tradingview, you have the wicks, and obviously you've got the values. If you just look here in the left, this will show you those max, min, and lows. I'd prefer to look at through Exocharts, but again, you can still identify the wicks, the trap delta, etc., all through just these bars here. Okay, so nothing too complex on that front. Just be sure to always pay attention. Okay, what's going on within the candle, right? Look at where that delta is coming in. Everyone just goes, okay, this is what's going on within the candle, but where are those participants occurring? Like for example up here, right? There's a lot of buying going on, but where is that buying coming in? You could have the assumptions at the bottom of the candle, and unless you see the actual footprint that's going on, you can say, well, a lot of the buying is coming in at the top here. The candle is closed away from that delta. That delta is now trapped. Okay, and this is all market orders and participants, but I've covered this in another video. So that is the volume delta. Nothing too complex here. You can obviously change the a few of the values here, the colors, nothing too extravagant. It's very, very basic, right? So now let's move on to cumulative volume delta, okay, which isn't too, we'll just bin that for now. Isn't too different. I'd really just recommend, it's just going to be tallying up, very easily the amount of delta going on throughout the course of a day. Typically, you can change the setting here, anchor period 1 day. I would leave it on 1 day. On Exocharts, you can obviously change this a lot more. You can have different sessions and visible ranges and etc. But I'd leave it on 1 day in that front, right? So if we just, I'm going to come to this in a minute. But you can see here, so what prices on this day is more buying coming in, it drops off the buying, more buying comes in here, and then it, this is all selling going. So it really splits up the days to show you, what market orders are doing on any given day through the course of these delta bars. Now, I've made a whole new video, or a whole separate video on CVD divergences, so I'm not going to cover this too much, but you can go watch that video. I'm going to probably link it in the description below on CVD divergences in complete total, okay, because that's probably what you want to watch there. And that's where you can be looking at, okay, where are you seeing absorption, people eating away at specific order types. If you've got more selling, very basically, very simply here, if you've got selling here, right, you've got two different lows, and you've got more selling at this low, but it's not able to break below this low here, well, someone is clearly holding it up with limit buy orders. So that is just very basic terminology of it. Of course, go watch the video. I'll link it down below. It's on my channel. But there is obviously you've got these two basic indicators. There is a better one. I've covered this indicator before in full, but it's the volume sweep by Leviathan. There's so many different things in this tool. It doesn't have the delta max minimum, but you do have like so many different other variables, such as just volume delta. So this is just going to be showing you the regular delta bars as you were looking at before, but with no wicks. But more importantly, I'd like to look at this, the buy sell volume, right? If we just look at this, because then you can actually see comparably, how much buying is coming into selling, and then how the candle is closed in relation to that. I mean, look at this candle here. So I've just made this here at the top, right? Look at this. So this candle has closed red, right? This candle here is closed red all the way down here. But there's actually more buying, as you can see here, than selling going within the candle. Obviously, that's positive delta. But then my theory is, okay, well, where is all this positive delta coming in? And then you look at the footprint and go, look, all the way up here at the top. And the candle is closed down here. That's trap delta. And you see a move towards the downside. Now, this isn't, in my opinion, the easiest to make trading decisions off of, especially because you're not looking at actual values. You're looking at kind of... You can look at the values, but you're just looking at the actual visualization of the bar here, right? So what I would actually do, for Exocharts here is you've got the actual values here and go, look, I'm looking for 15 mil trap delta. Okay, this is 31 million here. Now they're offside. Now I'm entering. Whereas with Tradingview, it's a bit more difficult. Okay, so I'd highly recommend actually try to make it a bit more quantifiable in that sense, quantifiable data in that sense, to actually take and execute from that, rather than just looking at the visualizations that's coming from Tradingview. Okay, but yeah, this indicator is free, volume suite. Lots of people have covered it, but it's got tons of different tools in that sense. It's actually got CVD as well. Okay, so you can look at it through there. Relative volume and everything. I've covered this in a whole separate video as well, but I wanted to cover Tradingview's indicators and a few use cases and ways to use those going forward. But hopefully you found this valuable, and if you have any more questions, there's a whole ton of videos to go and watch everything that I really cover in terms of the indicators I use on Tradingview, etc., and Exocharts. So yeah, thank you all for watching. I'll catch you all later.